Good morning. Good morning, little one. I'm making my drink, putting my stuff together. I just wanted to come on and keep myself accountable for doing my videos because they help me. I just wanted to tell you, remind you to put on your armor, to do the thing today, to make the call, to cut ties, to connect ties, to do it scared. Maybe you need to take a nap and you're not a napper. Maybe God's telling you to rest. Whatever it is, whatever you're afraid of, whatever the thing is, this is your sign that you can do it. You can do it. The enemy is a liar. It is hard for me because sometimes I think it's just my own voice, but then I think, well, where did those thoughts come from? The enemy. And I have to remind myself of the things that God has said about me. You have to remind yourself of the things that God has said about you. That you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That He has good plans for you from the foundations of the earth. That you can go boldly into the throne room as a child of God. Right? Like, you can do the things. You can do the things. You can do them. So today I have staff meeting this morning at church. I have the AC guy coming sometime between 1 and 4 because our AC is struggling in the afternoon and it is hot as Hades in here. Overnight and all day, fine. But when the sun hits the back of the house where the AC unit is, it's hot. So we have someone coming to look at it. This is what my drink looks like. Look. Ooh. I know you're thinking, ew. And you would be right. Ew. Ew. Anyways, I'm trying to write down verses and remember the things in the Bible that God says about me. Because I look at the choices I've made in my life and I know that there's consequences to the things that you choose. Sometimes good things happen to you that you didn't choose, but I heard a quote yesterday. Who is it from? Oh, I know who. Okay. Sheriff Mark Lamb in where is he at? He's in Arizona, I think. He's running for Senate. And I really like him. He was being interviewed on the Sean Ryan show. I like Sean Ryan too. He's got great interviews on his podcast. Anyway, he said, there's a quote on the show Vikings. This is what he said on the podcast. And Ragnar and his kids, they were old enough to finally go on like battles. Don't watch Vikings. I'm sure it's a bad show. So I'm just saying this is what he said on the podcast. Anyway, maybe it's not a bad show. Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm not endorsing something if it's bad. I'm just telling you the quote. Anyway, so the kids said goodbye. They were on the boat and they were like looking at mom, on their way out. And Ragnar was facing forward, and without even skipping a beat or looking over, he said, "Turn around, don't look back, don't look back, we're not going that way." And I just thought, Jesus said in the Bible, the one woman he reminds us of is to remember Lot's wife. Josephine, where are you? Josephine? Sit. Hey, sit. What's in your mouth? Lie down. Lie down. It's a piece of hair, I'm sure of it. Anyway, it's the one woman he tells us to remember as Lot's wife, and she looked back. And it reminded me of that just now while I was, as Pastor Mark says, verbally processing. And so I can't look back. You can't look back. You can remember things, but if you spend your time looking back on what you should have done better, what you didn't do right, instead of just lessons you've learned and the things that God's doing and going forward, but if you spend your time looking back, you will waste your life looking back. You cannot go forward and look backwards at the same time. You can't. So this is me looking forward. And also, I'm going to take my thing. It's so low. One more. Sweet baby Jesus. Ew. Ew. Anyway, I know it's good for me, but... And you might be saying, why don't you just put it in a shake? I don't want to. Maybe I'll try that, but... Anyway. Listen, I love you. Take a minute today to think about maybe what God's asking you to do, right? Yeah, I heard one of my pastors say this morning, if you bear the name of Christ, or if you claim the name of Christ, and you are not being obedient to the things that Christ is telling you to do, you're not living for Christ, or whatever, then you're defaming the name of Christ. And I was like, oh, what is it God's asking you to do? Take a minute to think about it, and then take a step in that direction. Maybe you're stuck on the past. Give yourself a day or two to grieve about it. I've done that. I did that recently over a scenario. You have to let yourself grieve. And then you've got to move forward. You've got to move on. So, anyways, I don't know if that's helpful or not, but here's to me on day 2. And here's to you. So, I love you like a crazy person. And I hope you have a good day. Mwah.